Hey guys, it's Stephanie here with the FlowerFanatic. So in this video, I thought it would be good and helpful for you guys to talk about some shade-loving plants that are low maintenance. What I mean by low maintenance is you don't want to do a lot of work on it. It's really easy care. You can go on vacation. You can kind of do whatever you want in the summer and it's not going to be too big of a deal. And they'll stay looking beautiful all the way until they start popping out in spring until fall. With these shade-loving plants, they require very little sunlight and they have appeal, like I said, from spring all the way until fall. And shade gardens can be so much fun. You can have dramatic texture, dramatic colors. You can even get beautiful blooms without a lot of sunlight. So shade gardens are actually becoming some of my favorites. So with these particular plants, in my climate, since it gets really hot here, it's about 100 degrees for a month straight in the month of July, and then it can go that way all the way until August, and then it starts cooling down a little bit more towards the end of August, early September. But if you live in a climate that's a little bit more mild, it doesn't get quite as hot, these can tolerate that part shade, but they can also tolerate the full shade. So these are great for that deep, loving shade area where you just don't have sun and you don't know what to put there. So I love them, they're beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about each plant individually. I'm gonna cover 4 of them today. They actually would look beautiful together. Some of them I'm not putting together, but you can go ahead and get creative, use your own imagination depending on what your flower bed looks like, what colors you have going on there. So I'm going to be covering Butter Rum Heuchera today. Look at that beautiful golden color. Some Astilbe. Astilbe is a great late summer plant in the shade garden. And then I got here some Mondo Grass. And then in my flower bed, I have some Ligularia that I really love. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these in my flower beds. I'll cover all the maintenance that you need to do with them. So when you go to the garden center, you'll have a lot of confidence when you buy the plant and you won't need to ask a lot of questions after watching this video. Okay, let's get these in my flower beds and we'll start planting them. Heucheras are hardy down to zone 4 through 9. Right here you can see they look great as masses and they also look good at the front of the border edge. These don't get very big. This particular variety, Butter Rum, only gets about 12 to 15 inches tall and wide. They have a lot of different ones. I could even put some cute little ones to fill in here that are a little bit smaller than these ones. I actually might do that. Get some mini ones. They are deer resistant, which is awesome because I have mountains right here. As you can see, the deer love to come down here and feed on everything. They're usually hungry in the spring. They return year after year, and they're also a great perennial for dividing. So after about 3 to 5 years, you can lift them up and just plant more throughout your yard. Basically in the spring, you lift it up and kind of, I like to use my hori and cut them in half. And so I love a plant that you can just divide and get more of throughout the years and not have to spend any more money. As far as these heucheras go, they do bloom. They have these cute little white stems of little dainty flowers. They kind of remind me of Tinkerbell. Don't ask me why. But as far as maintenance goes, they kind of keep their leaves throughout winter and they'll get a little bit worn. So in the spring, all you have to do is get your pruners, your little pruners, and cut off those stems that are kind of dead and ragged. And then right down here, it will promote a new flush of blooms and some more flowers. You can fertilize in the spring around the plant, so you kind of throw some slow release fertilizer if you want. Plant Tone Espoma is good. You don't have to, but that's easy. Just sprinkle a little bit around there and water it in. That's really all you have to do for heuchera. They're really low maintenance and easy to take care of. This is the Ligularia. I actually planted it behind this heuchera. I just really wanted this to be nice and full and lush right here, and I think they really play off of each other nicely. Look at its big leaves. This is why I love it so much. It is just really dramatic in the shade garden, and it looks so great. Eventually this is all gonna fill in, and I love the way it looks when they're massed together. But those little holes right there, as you can see, I have them. They are prone to grasshoppers and slug and snails. Bugs do like to eat them. You know what, I just really don't care that much. I deal with it. Not everything is perfect in the garden. And this is also a deer resistant plant. It gets about 2 to 3 feet tall, actually 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. Once again, it divides really well. I actually got this one from my neighbor over here. She has them throughout their yard, and so she divides them, and she's actually given them to the whole neighborhood, I swear. So many people come over and get this plant because everybody loves it so much. You can actually buy this one if you don't have it in your local nurseries at Bluestone Perennials. I like that online garden store. It's really great. They have so many fun plants and varieties. I would space them about 3 feet apart. A fun little fact with these plants is they attract the goldfinch bird. So all you have to do with this plant as far as maintenance goes is in the fall, cut it down so these leaves don't go mushy. All you got to do is cut it down to about the base. I leave about 1/2 inch to 1 inch above the ground. They're actually good for cutting. So in the fall, when you cut them down, save the leaves and put them in a vase with some of your other fall flowers or colors, whatever you have going on in your garden. They're also wet tolerant. They attract butterflies, and they also get this beautiful bloom in summer. So it's starting to come out late summer. Let's take a look at it real quick. They're pretty big blooms. So look how bright yellow that flower is, and look how big those buds are. It's pretty cool. And to have that kind of vibrancy and that color in such a shady area is always amazing to me. I don't actually grow them for the flowers. I grow them for the foliage, but it's nice to have that added bonus of flowers. You can put this Ligularia in more of a sunny area, and those leaves will get a little bit more red and dark. I actually like them to be a little bit on the greener side because you get to see more of that detailed red vein, which is so cool. So if you have your fun vacations planned in the spring and the summer, you can go ahead and leave all of these and not have to worry. Stilby, the next shade-loving plant, is really low care. It blooms late summer to fall. They come in different heights. This particular variety is Purple Rain. It gets about 18 to 24 inches tall and wide. And just like those other plants, you can kind of, after 3 to 5 years, divide them and spread them throughout the yard. I do recommend planting them in large numbers, 8 or 9 or 10, because they're just really stunning that way and add so much grace to your flower bed. They don't bloom a super long time, but it makes up for it because after it's done blooming, it keeps these plumes. They kind of turn brown, but that provides a lot of interest. They're hardy down to zone 4 through 8. And then all you have to do for maintenance is just kind of cut them down in spring or fall, and then they'll regrow and bloom when some of those spring flowers are done blooming. So I have some Lamium here and some globe flowers that I planted this year, and so they'll have yellow and purple flowers in the spring. And then this Stilby will pop up and provide me some color when all of those plants have faded. I really love this plant, and I love it with hydrangeas too. This is actually a good one to plant with that Ligularia over there. It's a great combination. The one thing that might be a little bit more higher maintenance with this Stilby is it doesn't like to dry out. So make sure you keep the soil moist. Let's move over to the Mondo Grass. This, on the other hand, this plant can handle dry weather, and it can handle a little bit more sun. In the spot that I have it over there, it gets a little bit more sunlight. I was at my local botanical center helping with some of their weeding, and I discovered this Mondo Grass underneath some hidden plants, and it was in an area that had no sunlight, shade pretty much the whole day, and it was dry. The sprinkler system was actually not spraying there. It was kind of broken, and this plant was doing really well, and it still had that really dark color. So it's an awesome plant. This black Mondo Grass only gets about 6 to 12 inches tall and wide. It has little blooms that are trying to come out right now. They're cute little purple flowers. I love planting grasses. They see as it blows in the wind. Isn't that so peaceful? Right here in this area, I don't really have any contrast of color, so it's kind of needed that. I have it with my Japanese maple, so it kind of gives you a little Asian Zen vibe there. They're great for container pots. They'll give you that texture. Anyways, they really are low maintenance. I don't know what else I can really say about it. They divide super well. In about 3 years, you can divide it. Actually, this young one is already screaming to be divided. You see how it's separate from this plant? So it's kind of formed its own little plant right there, so I could divide that if I wanted to and plant it somewhere else. It's an evergreen, so it will keep its leaves in winter time. It's just one of those plants that you really don't have to do anything. I hope you guys liked this video. On a side note, keep all of your labels to all the plants you put in the ground. I have hundreds of these. It's so nice when I forget what I put in the ground and forget the name, and I want another one, or somebody asks about it. They're just handy to have on hand. And so there's a good little tip. Hit the like button if you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new. And like I always say, have a great day gardening. We'll talk to you later. Bye.